I got you. So tell me a little bit about the lobbying process on this bill. Is this, the mining industry and the auto industry and everybody coming together on lobbying for this bill, or how did that look?
Well, I mean, there is a push to a greener future. So that this is the sort of focus, I think, of governments. And for instance, an EV uses roughly 2 times the number of semiconductors than a regular vehicle. So by this very push, you're actually, exacerbating the problem, because not only do you have shortages, you're increasing those shortages because you're pushing people into vehicles that need double the number. It's about 2,000 semiconductors per EV, thereabouts.
Wow.
I think also semiconductor is, as I said, technically very advanced. It's a very sexy thing to talk about because it's incredible. It's this tiny little thing that does so much. It's the brains of an EV. It's the brains. It's the brains of your laptop, of your TV, of your fridge. It's this tiny little wafer thing that is so important. And so for a politician, it's a really easy thing to talk about because everyone ultimately thinks they understand what a semiconductor is. So of course, I think the lobbying was more from government rather than in outside sources lobbying governments for
So
this.
this
I
was
think they saw an
easy
opportunity.
for you.
Yeah,
Great.
they saw an opportunity to say, you know what, we're going to throw some money at this. But to put it in perspective, in South Korea, they announced, I think about 5 months ago, they were going to push over the next 10 years, 350 billion into increasing and this is industry, not government. The industry was going to put 350 billion to work to produce, to increase the capacity for semiconductor production. So 52 billion, it seems like a lot of money, but for these plants, it's not really going to move the needle.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The question that everybody's asking, and this is probably the most important one, how many syllables are in the word semiconductor?
To be honest, I only have 10 fingers, so I couldn't tell you.
That's why politicians say it as much as they can. So I know the House asked for far more than the Senate was willing to give. So that 52 billion is just a compromise. Is it, and it's not even been passed yet, but do you think they're going to just pretty much stay at 52 billion or will it actually go up at all?
Well, the question is, what do they do with that 52 billion?
Yeah.
I mean, the United States traditionally was the big semiconductor producer. Back in the day, most of the semiconductors of the planet were being produced in the United States. It was another industry that sort of migrated away because the levels of investment required to stay at the cutting edge are vast. And there were other things to do in the United States. So like mining back in the day, 60s and 70s, the US was an extraordinarily dominant mining, country in a democracy, no longer. So is this 52 billion is going to be used to attract Taiwanese, South Korean companies to open up in the United States? Is it going to develop an American-owned approach? I mean, it hasn't really been fully defined yet what the 52 billion is for. And so that's going to be interesting to see how that evolves.